I came to find out there's this old clip in the producer community that kind of loops back around every so often about DJ Khaled saying the reason why music production isn't the greatest today is because everything's so computerized, digitized, and specifically he went on to say Logic, maybe said Studio One, but then he came around FL Studio. It's like garbage. Drums are garbage. I mean, and then he said you need a producer like me to come in and say those drums are garbage, and then he's gonna swap them out or whatever. And that clip in the producer community got a little bit of a causes a stir. I come to find out every so often when it gets looped back around, but he does have a point. He is kind of right, but it's just
He also got money though.
true. Also, wasn't communicated the best either, because also what he said was the lack of feel is gone when it's so computerized, it's so ticky tack, one step, quantized, and it doesn't evoke emotion like other productions made that doesn't use computers or FL Studio based. So I get it, but also communication. But the for that to say, why do you think people don't get credit for doing certain things today as far as if they're doing it a computerized way? Do you agree with that point as well, or do you have another thought about it?
I don't agree with it. I used to work with this guy, and he used to tell me how everything being computerized. He was an older guy in music, and people who did music 40 years ago, they're never going to give FL Studio and the newer softwares credit in general. But I don't know. I think they speaking from a perspective of like when you used to watch, I don't know, like James Brown and older people perform. Everything was they played everything, and it sounded a certain way. Now when you can get on like FL Studio and you can program everything, they don't understand. I guess how that works or something. They don't like it because that's what he was saying. How the drums don't sound real. There's no feel to it. It's different when you record a drummer playing, and it's different when you go on and play that same beat. When you go in and you click it into FL Studio, it's just different.
I'll say specifically on FL, the drums don't sound the greatest. I'm not gonna lie,
Nah,
they don't.
Well, I mean, you gotta think about FL. It's just like any tool, man. I mean, it takes time and practice to master anything you're gonna do. I mean, they say the 10,000 hours number or whatever. But I mean, you look at people like Ninth Wonder, that he was like, I know everybody brings up Ninth Wonder every time they talk about FL, but like he took the time to learn how to use the tool to make the sound that he wanted to make sound, and his sound was absolutely not ticky tack. It was not on the grid. It was like people was trying to figure out how the fuck he got so much swing in his tracks. It's because he learned his tools. I mean, it's just like fucking playing the guitar, man. If you play the guitar, you're gonna start out with the I don't even know what people start out with. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I guess maybe. Probably. Yeah, I mean it's gonna sound cheap at first. You're gonna be right on the beat as much as you can. If you hit the beat, you be happy to hit the beat sometime. But like it's gonna take time to learn how to manipulate the tools, and I think a lot of times people, they so. I mean, the attention span of the human today is extremely short. I mean, I say the human, but I guess I would say the it's not American because it would be like multicultural. The
Music, yeah.
civilized human in today, the attention span is so short because it's got so many distractions, and so people not willing to put 10,000 hours into mastering a program. Or
I also think that go into like just technology. You don't have to, in a sense, because you know it used to be. I was telling Dre earlier about this software. Can we say it on air? Well, it was a plugin that plays chords and melodies.
Yeah,
you don't even need to know how to play an instrument anymore. You know, so those 10,000 hours you had to learn to perfect, playing the keyboard or guitar, you don't have to do that anymore. You can just click until you find something that you like. So it's kind of like it's cheating. It's not really original. I mean, unless you really know how to manipulate it and, go in and do different things to it. So it used to take 10,000 hours and now it takes about, maybe 10. And you can, call yourself a producer and different things like that now.
Well, that's probably the same reason why a lot of people don't make it.
Yeah.
And they only sell their beats for $10 on a lease.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, you can tell when you listen to different producers, you can tell somebody who's put in their time to learn. I mean, even if somebody has like a background in playing instruments, if they jump on, whatever and start producing, you can tell whether or not they put their time into learning how to produce and how to make sounds work a certain way and give you the feel that because I mean all of it's about making you feel some kind of way, and if I listen to it and I don't feel nothing, then I can clearly tell that you ain't studied your craft that you're trying to be in. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna sell a beat for $30,
10 on the lease. But also, are they producers or just beat makers as well?
Yeah,
that's a lot of.
Well, I mean,
it's a difference though. There's a clear difference.
DJ Khaled discussion that he had too.
But that's not even just DJ Khaled thing. That's a
producer.
That's an industry thing. Because when you don't get those definitions and credits correct, that's why people don't get paid and get the recognition they deserve, because they don't know how to contractually, business wise, say what they do in the music industry.
So what would you say is the difference between a producer and a beat maker?
Producers don't have to make beats.
Okay.
Producers are the ones who are able to get the people to help bring a track together and make it become what the song's supposed to be, hit or not, or just a great song.
Okay.
And there's levels to being a great producer and being an average producer as well, just like anything else.
That was DJ Khaled's point.
And beat makers,
he chooses the sound,
make beats.
He gets the people to play it, but he don't necessarily have to touch anything. Right. He orchestrated them.
Yeah, like Diddy's a producer.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So.
Well, producers can make beats as well, but they don't have to.
With a would you call a jazz musician a producer or a beat maker?
A jazz musician.
See, that's where the definitions get, because technically, if you want to say, what's the jazz musician doing?
He making music.
What instruments or instrument is he playing?
He could be playing multiple instruments. He's got drums on his track, keys, got some sax, some guitar, bass.
If he's playing and putting all that together, I'll say producer.
You would say producer. So a guy who's on FL arranging all those instruments, you wouldn't call him a producer.
That's what.
Now here's the other thing too with that same question. What if that jazz producer wasn't playing any authentic instruments? Everything was digital.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the FL one real quick
All right.
because that is just a beat if it's gonna send it off and not do anything else to it. Send it off to somebody else, like an engineer who's gonna have their own kind of spice they put to it.
Okay.
And once they collaborate with the artist, if he or she just making a beat and just sending it off, that's a beat maker.
Okay.
If
All right.
if doing that and being in the studio while the track is being made, also doesn't have to be an engineer, but saying, hey, being able to say, hey, this should go here, here, or that, or there, that's producer.